And I don't think I have it. I don't think that mentally I have the capacity to extend myself to 2 children. Hey friends, what's up? I wanted to jump on and have a quick conversation with you while I am driving. Hope your day is going well so far. My name is Shandean. If you don't know me, I am Jamaican. I live in Canada and I make lifestyle and family videos about, just my life here in the prairies in Canada. I also have a blog, www.shandeanreid.com, if you are more of the reading type. I'm not as active as I want to be, but I am active. So let's get into today's chat, shall we? This morning I was talking about, this topic about children, right? I'm a mom of 1. And this morning I was just having a conversation with myself about, because this comes up every day, about, why I have only 1 child and why I don't think I will have another, right? So this decision is not, I didn't come to it lightly. I'm not one of those women who decided straight off the bat that I was one and done. I thought more or less that I would have at least 2 babies, right? So when my daughter was born, I was 27 years old, so it's not as if I was a young mom. I had been trying to get pregnant. I had been trying a couple of months, it wasn't working, and then as soon as I decided to mind my business, that I was gonna just go back to school or something like that, boom, pregnancy come, right? And I always wanted to be pregnant. I always told myself that I wanted to have my first child before I was 30. So that was done. Had my child inside of wedlock and all those beautiful, wonderful things. And then the realities of life hit, right? My husband started his residency the same year that I was pregnant. And what that meant for us living in Kingston, Jamaica at the time was that we didn't really have support system, because I'm not from Kingston originally and he's not from Kingston originally. So we were just 2 people who went to college and decided not to go back home, right? We met in college and started dating. And so we didn't really have any support. My mom came and stayed a while. My husband got he was home for the first 3 weeks with the baby, got some time off for that. So that's as much support as we could have expected. And I had a cesarean section. I had my daughter via C-section. So what I'm talking about. And so 3 weeks in, my father was living in Jamaica at the time, and so he would come over and he would spend nights with me because he worked, right? So he'd have to go to work during the day, but he would stay nights with me when my husband was on call and at work, so that I'm not alone with the young baby. But obviously that can't go on for too long, right? And my mom wasn't able to come and do any of that because I had a younger sibling who, was in school. I don't even think she didn't reach high school yet. But Angel, my sister, who you've been seeing on the blog this summer, she had her to take care of, so that wasn't gonna happen that way either. And then Nana, hubby's mom, lived in Moby. So that was our situation. So when I say we had no support system, it just never realistic to expect it. So 3 weeks in, husband is doing some crazy hours, lots of nights spent alone. I'm a new mom. I don't know nothing right? Nothing from a can of paint. Of course, I wanted my child. I'm happy I was a new mom. But when me tell you I don't know nothing, like literally the day when I had my C-section, and I think I had my C-section on a Thursday and they sent us home the Saturday, right? Listen, when I was walking up out of that hospital, and all they did was to walk us to the car to ensure that we had a car seat, right? And I really sat there at my big age and said, I know these people aren't allowing me to carry a whole human being home. Like, y'all just let anybody have babies and take them home. Right? That's how I felt going into it. I learned as much as I could, but just only so much you can learn without having the experience yourself, right? And so that was really, really hard. I remember this one night, I'm traumatized by it, right? My back pain was so bad, so bad, and the child would not settle down. She did not want to be put down. She didn't like to be lying down. I was promised a newborn who was going to sleep all this time. Mine decided she wasn't going to sleep because clearly something in the world had missed her. So she did not sleep. She refused to sleep, right? And so when I tell you, say, my back done when I got pregnant. My back pain started 4 months in, and after I had the C-section, after the epidural, baby, nothing about normal about that they paid the air. And like, I'm having to take care of this child by myself because my husband is at work, right? So I get up, I wash, and the machine was broken, so it's hand wash. I feel a bit like, listen, postpartum was by ourselves. My husband would come home, and the second him come home, he might take the baby, but you know, say him drop dead tired, right? He's in school too, so he might wake up like 3 o'clock in the morning, and he is taking the baby. And when he wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, he go to go work and never come home until the next day. And when he come home the next day, he might try to give me some relief, but he also needs to sleep because he needs to go back to work. He needs to study. You understand where I come from? Like, believe me, when like no thinking about it, madness. Do you understand? And so right there, so is where my fantasy for having 2 young kids died. Right? I always thought, maybe you have the first one, and then when the child is like 2, you go again and knock it out and done. But once we enter the postpartum area is when my fantasy for having 2 children died. I knew that I did not have the physical nor mental capacity to have 2 children under those circumstances. That is what I knew for sure, right? So now, once my husband finished his schooling, which was when my daughter was about 5, I want to say, either 4 or 5, somewhere there. I did revisit it in COVID. So during COVID time, but I said, boy, maybe I can hold on. Alright, so once my husband got done, that was COVID and everything, and I said, boy, but I think some can manage that, and besides, you did say you want to do certain things because you were home with the baby while I was doing residency, and I think no other time for you to do that, right? So cool. Right around that time now, it's time to move to Canada. It's time, to immigrate, and not really want for say, boy, them time they're like, find it, because our original plan was to immigrate to Canada as permanent residents. And I like somebody have the money sit down kind of wait, because you know we're only on one income and things did stingy, and I was doing a little something to ensure so we have savings with, you know, with my business and whatever. But I never like a whole heap of money for sit down pan. So we did, you know, I don't like somebody with a ready, but we had planned to move as permanent residents. And when that didn't work out, I had to go back to school in Canada, and tuition is expensive and all of that. So then that was not the right time, right? And we came over, we were on temporary residence now. And then that still wasn't, it didn't feel like the right time. We lived in an apartment. A baby would mean, you know, more expenses, we need more space, things like that. I was like, all right, well, I want the house before, you know, I even think about that. And so while we're you know, putting all these things in place and so on, I do want this child, I do want another child, but I'm being realistic and honest and looking at my life and what it looks like, and I'm saying, boy, a couple of things now at this point. Like when I had my daughter, I was 27, like I said, but now I'm in my mid-30s. So now the picture looks different. It means that if I'm gonna have a child, I need to start over from scratch with the baby thing, with the newborn thing, the whole pregnancy thing. Pregnancy never smooth for me, right? The morning sickness, God alone can tell me say that is not next to death and ungodly. Yeah. So there's that, and then there is I'm a different woman than I was almost 10 years ago. I am a different woman. I'm in a different place, and I just don't think, like with everything that I am doing, it was much easier to be, you know, a mom when I was staying at home, you know, taking care of the man and the home and all of that. That's no longer what my life looks like. And I don't think I have it. I don't think that mentally I have the capacity to extend myself to 2 children. I'm just being honest. And for this conversation that constantly goes on about motherhood and parenthood and all of that, I feel like we need to stop telling people that parenthood has to look a certain way. Stop telling people that their entire journey with parenthood must be this self-sacrificing, self-sabotaging thing. Because, you know, one of the things that comes up quite often is that my child needs a sibling, and I don't disagree. I have 3 siblings, right? I would love to give her siblings, but it means say things for the daughter what I already have, I got cut short in terms of what we can afford to do. Right now we can afford to take vacations, and she can come and she can be in the middle of all of it. I cannot say that if I had 2 children I can always pay for children to go on vacation as family of 4. And I didn't grow up living the life my daughter now has. So the first time I traveled I was 25, right? So me want to travel, me want get up, and me want go when me want go, and me want do what me want do. And I am enjoying being her mom. I'm enjoying being a parent, and I'm enjoying giving her the best of me, but also having enough for myself left afterwards, right? And I don't think that as a mom of 2 I can do that happily. I may be wrong. Because granted, if the belly pop up and God say her, then I have no choice but for the her. But as I sit and I thought about it, and I've toiled over this for years and years and years, and I think I've come to the conclusion that I'm a one and done mom. There's just so much to consider. I am older now. I go God hospital and more call me, say me have geriatric pregnancy, and I know people are gonna say, oh well, you know, women can have baby at any. Me not care. Me don't want to hear that, because far too many people are comfortable trivializing pregnancy, and it's like we're trying to forget that this is a life and death, and it is, and I'm not playing that game, right? So don't come convince me say women they can, but that needs to be their choice, and for me it is not an attractive choice. Do you understand? That is one. And then again, I am thinking about my capacity to manage, and I just don't think I have it. So when the phone cut out, but just a little chit chat. If you are a mom of one, let me know how you feel about it. You know, what led you to your decision? Were you always feeling that way? What do you think? I think we should encourage women to assess themselves and be honest, and don't just be a mother because you have a womb. Be a mother because it's something that you want to do, and be realistic about what your capacity is. I've seen moms with 4 or 5 children bossing it up. They're not gonna slow them down. They're hitting everything that they want to hit. They're doing it. They're doing the dang thing, and they are having the time of their lives being a mom of that many children. I can't do it. I cannot do it. My mental health would take a nosedive if I were a mom of 4 or 5 children. Even 3, even the idea of 3 children give me a panic attack. I'm not telling no lie. But anyway, let me know what you think. I'm gonna sign off here.